Hey guys, this is Odysseus with B&G Militia. I'm bringing you a little bit of content from Conquest Assault. We're going to be featuring this video. I'm going to be featuring this video and going over a little bit of information about how Conquest Assault works and how it functions compared to Conquest. Basically, it's the same concept. Two differences. One is that the attackers, the U.S., start out with more tickets than the Russians. Now, reason being is because of the fact that the Russians start out with all the points captured. They're not neutralized. They start with all the points. Now, the reason being is because you have two opportunities at the very beginning as attackers. You have the opportunity to attack from the front or attack from the back or middle or whatever the circumstances are. Now, this is a smaller server, so it does not have the same amount as the normal size server would compared to what this one does. Now, this only has 3 points, so don't take that for granted that these are smaller maps. They are actually bigger than the normal the Conquest map, so 64 players is kind of agreed to do that. Now, I'm not really going to go into much detail about this. I mean, it's the same thing as Conquest. I'm going to go ahead and actually start putting up a video now. And we're just going to go over a little bit of information on how Conquest works, Conquest Assault works, and the main differences in strategy rather than Conquest would be with what they do vehicle-wise, you know, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get that started. So here we go, guys. We're just going to go ahead and start getting this match going. Now, I just ran up onto A in Conquest Assault, and I usually like to try to go for the first objective first, so we can just get a starting point at least and work our way up. If that doesn't work, I'll usually try to flank from the back or middle or somewhere around there. But fortunately, was able to get to the first point. Now, cut out a little bit of that, moved up to the second point, and we're trying to take this one. Now, usually what I try to do is I try to move back and forth. I try to check around corners, making sure nobody's sneaking up on me, because I mean someone can come out of nowhere from, you know, and I'm pretty much seem to be the only one that's actually trying to capture this point right now. Everybody else has kind of moved up and went to different points. The LAV is trying to defend a little bit, so I'm just kind of taking my time and trying to take this point, and then from there I'll move on. Now I'm just trying to defend the point a second, because we had some people that moved up. I'm going to go ahead and try to defend the objectives that we've already taken, because I don't know how I missed that guy. He was just in there laying on the ground and just looked down and was like, oh crap, that was close. And so anyways, you know, just trying to do some friendly things with my teammates to make sure they're staying alive and getting together. Unfortunately, he went back down because that LAV came out of nowhere again. So we're just trying to defend the point, taking out this guy over here because he's just standing outside the LAV like an idiot, not even paying attention. So now we're going to try to move up to D if this LAV will go down. And like I said, you just always want to be trying to constantly defend, always trying to get everything going for yourselves, to make sure that, you know, you're counter defending what they may take, and you know, you don't want them to bunker down as well. This guy tried to trick me, didn't work. Came around and took him back out. So like I said, counter defending. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to move up to D. They were trying to take D, but unfortunately a squad of them or two came up and came back and took the point back from us. So I'm going to go ahead and try to advance up. I'm basically going to stay back for a second, because I like to make sure the area is clear, or at least have some support for some people. So I noticed some people were starting to come up, so I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and move up a little bit, but keep down some suppressive fire for them so they can move up and not have a problem. So now there's about 5 or 6 of us, and we have our LAV that moved up as well. Now I see here that there's some infantry over there, and the LAV probably can't see them very well because they're hiding in this dark house. So I come in, take them out, because you'll always want to be constantly taking these people out, especially if you have armor around, because you know, if you're an infantry unit, you're going to have a little bit more leeway and being able to zigzag around and taking these guys out. So
Now, like I said, counter defending always. See, Charlie has not been taken yet. It's being contended. Now, I noticed that A actually starts getting taken from us. So I move back here and take the guy back out so they don't take our A. And like I said, this is the same thing as I was talking about before, just counter defending against the enemies, because they will come back and they'll wipe you guys out by taking all of your points. So, excuse me there. Just going to go ahead and take these guys out. Just move up on them. Make sure they're, you know, just properly defending on this objective and trying to take it. Now, I just got 2 of my guys that just came up with me. And I'm just going to be kind of counter defending with them and making sure that they're staying alive and that there's a health pack down so we can properly take this objective and I can have some backup. So we're going ahead and pushing up, and I'm going to be constantly moving back and forth. I mean, I don't want the enemy to get a stance on me. I don't want to just go prone in a corner and hope that they don't shoot me or something like that while I'm trying to defend this objective. I want to move back and forth constantly, making sure I'm reviving people and constantly playing as an assault and playing as a medic at the same time, because you're supposed to be defending, supposed to be taking people out, make sure you're capturing the objective, and so on and so forth. So let's go on, and basically we get to this point and I get taken out twice in a row. This guy revives me back up and I actually get his kit, and I'm going to go ahead and move up to the objective. And unfortunately I don't survive very long because I'm not really used to the ACWR. I do like the weapon, but it's not something that I'm good with. So take these 2 guys out, but ended up getting snuck up on and taken out. So let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and basically keep defending this objective. They weren't really taking much from us. Then I started to notice that they started moving back to our beginning objectives. So I was like, well, I don't want that to happen. And these objectives are not something that I really want because they're so far off the beaten path and so hard to get to that you really don't have much, you know, I guess what you could say, you don't really have much that you can use them for compared to having like C or D or A or B. And generally I always want to try to keep B because it's a objective that you can get to all the other objectives like D, A, and C on this map. And so you want to try to keep those objectives that are going to keep you constantly defending your objectives and able to keep those objectives that you want to complete the match and overall make you effective. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep defending this objective until I finally decide that it's no longer a smart idea to keep defending this objective and keep taking it back, because they have effectively taken most of our objectives, or at least neutralized them at this point, or we're in the process of taking them. So I want to get back up to the other side and take these objectives back from them. So I go back up here and I'm going to take this one first because they've pretty much dispersed out. They're not really defending these objectives anymore, and there's not really a point to keep getting them. So we're going to move on and we're going to go ahead and take these objectives and keep taking them. And like I said, just keep putting down med packs and keep reviving my teammates to make sure that they're alive and that they're surviving, and just make sure that they're all right, because the problem being is that you're going to have a lot of, you know, battles where you need to have your team with you at all times. Now, I'm going to go ahead and roll up on this objective, and I kind of played this a little stupid. I mean, I should have never ran up like that, and I definitely didn't take the appropriate cover that I should have taken on this. As you see that I get taken out, it should have went somewhere that would have been a little bit more defensive, and maybe pointed towards their points, because see, that guy just came up out of nowhere, just took me out easily that way. So as you see, they've taken a lot of the objectives and neutralized them. So I'm basically going back through and trying to retake these objectives and basically take these guys out of these households and make sure that they're not in here and they're not in the building. So, like I said, these guys are going to bunker down, especially if you let them. So, I'm going through trying to take everybody out. There was tons of them. You know, just taking them out left and right, making sure there's none of them coming my way, and slowly moving up the objectives. Now we took back A and B, and now I'm moving for C. Now I usually try not to go for C first before D, because it is kind of a hard point to defend and capture because of the fact that there are so many buildings and they have so many places to hide around that point to appropriately defend it easily. So it is kind of a hard point for me to take, especially without a vehicle. So generally I like to have a vehicle with me if I'm going to try to take this point. So anyways, I get taken out by this guy. He was just hiding in the corner, didn't see him when I came around. Unfortunately, so he's just going to post it back up there again. So basically I'm coming back. They have taken B, and it looks like we're just getting slaughtered at this point. I don't know what my team's doing, so I decide that I'm just going to pull out all stops and take these guys out. So taking guys out left and right here, pull out my pistol, my 93R, and take those guys out. So now we're just going to keep moving up, and I'm going to try to keep flanking these guys. They keep spawning over and over again on this B post, trying to keep the objective. So I'm just going to keep trying to put them down, trying to keep them down, you know, left and right, just taking them out, getting headshots on them, and making sure that they're not able to successfully defend this objective. So take that guy out in the vehicle, and then I'm going to keep moving around, and until I feel that it's safe to move up to take this objective, which I do at this point, and I know there's a guy on this building, so I'm going to go ahead and take him out. And then unfortunately this guy over here throws down a grenade, so I'm like, oh, bail out of there. So now I'm going to wait for my med pack to actually be able to recycle it again. There we go. And then I'm going to heal up a little bit, so I don't go out and completely get killed right off the bat. Go ahead and try to take this guy out. He was a little far. Couldn't get him, someone else got him. And now I'm going to go ahead and take this guy out. And then, and like I said, I mean, you don't just want to run into things sometimes. Sometimes it's actually better just to stay off the objective and take everything out before you actually take the objective. Because you're going to be more effective if you're staying alive and you're taking people out. And then, you know, until you get some backup that come up that you can have, that you know that you're going to have no issues with. So unfortunately I finally get taken out. I defended that as much as possible. I think I got a 12 or 13 kill streak, and fortunately we won that match. I came in top place on it as well. That's the end for that match, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I was able to help you out a little bit, and maybe you saw how to play Conquest Assault a little bit better than you did before before I did this Conquest Assault Battlefield training video. Now anyways, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Favorite my video if you found it helpful. And you can also click in the bottom right for the last video, which was Conquest. That was another Battlefield training video. But other than that, if you like what I'm doing, and you have anything you might want to critique me on, go ahead and, you know, send me a comment, send me a message, whatever you want to do. Send it to me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook and like me on there as well. But other than that, you guys have a good day. Odysseus out.